All right, I think we are live. Good morning, everyone. Let me make sure that we are on Facebook. We don't want to have any troubles there. We're good to go. Hi, you guys. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are so excited to be on, but I wanted to welcome everyone. I'll wait for some people to start hopping on, but good morning. And like I mentioned, happy Thursday. I'm excited to be on here with you guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Michelle Bamba, and I am so honored and so excited to be accompanied by my lovely co-host, Miss Cindy. So, Cindy, you want to say hi?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. My name is Cindy Kidd, and Andrew and myself, my husband, have been global directors for the past several months. Excited to be on this morning, bright and early, and share as much information as we can, and hopefully you find some value in it.
I love it. I love it. Well, awesome, you guys. So, kind of as a recap, while we let some of our friends hop on, is we are closing up our third week, which is pretty exciting. Can't believe how fast this week has been going, or this month has been going. But this series has been pretty incredible. We've kind of gone and covered over everything through mindset and skill set and things that you want to acquire and learn to really help grow your business. And you know what? I really want to give it all up to you guys because we're in our final third week and you're still all in, you're still up and early, and you're still dedicated and you're on. So I want to give some hearts to you guys because that's pretty incredible to still be all in at this point of a series. But it really just shows your desire to really grow and your desire to really really step it up and really be all in and help as many people as we can. So this is going to be an exciting hour. We've kind of gone through a lot as far as this series. We've gone through, a lot of the mindset. We've gone through the skill set. We've gone through structure. We've gone through sponsoring. We've gone through it all. But now that we've been really diving deep into this week into sponsoring, of how we're going to just approach people and how we're going to, keep that mindset chatter free and stop being scared to approach people to start coaching. But what I really want, or what we're really actually going to go through today, is as we start accumulating these coaches, as we start, sharing this gift and sharing this opportunity for people to start, to join our mission really. Now, what do we do? So today we are just so excited to start, talking about building senior coaches and building them with momentum. And so it's an amazing topic to talk about. I absolutely love this. I love working so closely with coaches. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and you'll see that, there comes a time where, I love helping clients, don't get me wrong, but the joy in helping coaches grow is really where my passion is at. And it's just been really exciting. So let's go ahead and get started because we have a lot to cover today. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen for you guys and we will get going. All right, my friends. So, building senior coaches with momentum. So this is something that we really want to get good at when it comes to, building our team, right? So, building senior coaches with momentum, consistency with a fast start. Because, as we start to bring on coaches, as we start to, get them to dream, and we're just so excited to have them on, right? What do we want to do? Well, this is a skill really. This is a skill that we really want to gain quickly. And it's the skill that can be duplicated again and again. That is the vision. That is the goal. So you really want to be good at this skill and become, excellent at it, just because we really want to start duplicating this skill onto our new coaches, right? This is a skill that if you can learn how to duplicate this over and over with your team, and you really build that culture, not just a sponsoring culture, but now keeping up and building senior coaches with momentum, you can go as far as you want in this business, because building senior coaches is that building block of growing your business. If you can acquire clients and you can provide the solution that people are looking for, and then help your coaches do the same, it's going to change everything. So building senior coaches, if you guys think about it, right? Building senior coaches helps create blended EDs. Building senior coaches help coaches go FIBIC. So the goal is to go senior coach over and over again. And this time you're just bringing along someone for the ride. So do you guys really see the importance? Show me some hearts and loves. some likes if you guys see the importance of learning the skill and really creating this culture within your team. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this. So I absolutely love this story. I'm sure many of you have heard this story before through some trainings, but this really shows us the power of building senior coaches. So I wanted to share this powerful story with you guys, as the value of this really ties into what we do. So the story goes, there was one person that walked up to 3 bricklayers. With the first bricklayer, he asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the first man just says, "I'm laying bricks." He kept it simple. He talked about the process. So the next time moved on to the second bricklayer, goes up to the second bricklayer and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm building a wall." He can see where the bricks are going. He can see that it's forming a structure and he's really creating something, but it's really nothing interesting. So then he goes up to the third man and asks, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm building a cathedral. Now I'm creating cathedral." And even though he was just laying bricks, building a wall, he was actually creating a cathedral. So what's really great about this story, you guys, is it talks about creating a process. You go from simple to complex. You go from the lack of knowledge to knowledge. And this is really a visionary talk. Simply, do you want to be a bricklayer or a wall builder? Or do you want to be a cathedral creator? And the idea is if you want to create something bigger, which is obviously building a team of coaches to join this mission with you and to work alongside you with this beautiful part we have in Optavia, then you have to really start at the beginning. Because if you're not good at laying bricks, then you're never going to be good at creating a cathedral. So this vision really gives you a vision of coaching. You want to start off simple. You want to lay down that foundation and the system for a coach. And from there, you really want to start building them up, just like the man built the wall. And as you're laying one brick at a time, it's going to start forming something. And clearly, it's going to need some work, at first to give them what they need to succeed. But step by step, you're going to work alongside this person. And step by step, before you know it, you've laid out a system. You supported them through every step by step. And now they have all the tools that they need to succeed and build that cathedral. So let's go over exactly, this amazing launching pad that we have and what we start off with. And that is a quality coach explore and meet and greet. And the reason why this really creates an amazing launching pad into the start of their business is that this does so much for a new coach. This is going to establish the trust between you and that new coach and that business coach and that mentor coach. Because remember, we work alongside them every step of the way. And we want to establish that trust with them early on. It also establishes that communication because we want to keep that communication completely open with them and understand and have them and posture to them that we're going to be there every step of the way. And even, really establishes their goals. We have a better understanding of who they are, of what they're looking for, and their dreams and their goals, and what their aspirations are, and what we want to help them create. So let's go into this, you guys. So edifying and launching from the meet and greet. So obviously the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to establish their whys. And we're going to get crystal clear on what is it that they want. As a business coach, it's important for you to know that always and know how to, really understand their why and really ask those questions. As we know, the communication is established. The communication knows exactly, or you're really set on as far as the communication and you're posturing exactly how you guys are going to communicate and maybe even how often. Our actions. We're going to go over those actions, right? That meet and greet, we're going to go over the first steps of, what they're going to want to do and what we're going to suggest them to do to get off to a great start. This is where the goals are achieved and that connection is really made. First actions are set, right? So we're letting them know exactly, we're going to get into all of this too, you guys. But we're going to get into exactly what their first actions are to really kick them up to an amazing start. And this is really important, you guys, is just in time training, because we solely want to focus on the most important actions to help them build, what it is that they want to build. And that first step is really to help a new coach awaken those first clients and how to build a business off of backbone. So just in time training really means you're just running alongside them, side by side, hip to hip, and you're giving them exactly what they need when they need it. So we hear this a lot, and some people I know come in are very confused as for what does this mean, but we don't want to overwhelm them, right? Imagine yourself as a new coach. How many of us kind of came in and we were like, ooh, like this may be a lot. I don't know what to do. Well, we don't want to give them way too much. If we're giving them and handing them way too much before they really even need to know that skill, you're going to lose them. So it's really important to feed them exactly what they need, baby steps for them. We really want to place them in this safe micro environment of really actions first too, but do it at a slower pace. And you guys, our job is to just help them launch, and we want to ensure that they have that clear path of this success, and they know exactly what they're doing from the start. And we're laying that foundation. Remember, we're laying the bricks for them slowly by slowly, because we want them to develop these skills to place into their tool belt later on. So this is my favorite, you guys. We want our coaches to dream. How many of us before starting off Tabia, I know I was one of them, how many of us forgot what it was like to dream? Or it's been years since we dream. We get in the muck of life and we just, go with the day-to-day base, and we really don't know how to dream. So this is so important to do with the new coach, you guys. The dream is what drives the action. Remember that. A lot of what we do as coaches is we offer hope to people. We get them to dream. Just like we get them to dream when we're on this health assessment with them as clients, and we want them to get to their weight goal, and we really have them envision what that looks like for them. We want to do the same with our coaches. Dreaming is such an important part of coaching. When you actually, get them connected to their why, then a coach will really become fully engaged to make those dreams a reality. We just like how, when we help them as a client, we have them connected to their why. That is what's going to be the driving force for them to get to their goal. Same thing as brand new coaches, you guys. We want them connected to their why. And it may take a while for them to truly understand or to see the vision, but that's why we want to really ensure them to that path of success by starting off slow and getting them to these goals quickly, so that they're connected to their why. Now they're seeing like, wow, I can really dream with this. And so I want you guys to ask, what goals they have in the next 2 to 3 years. What would that look like? And remember, when we talk about, structural tension chart, I hope you guys are all now living in structure as of last week. But, when we talk about that, it's not necessarily the dollar amount. We talk about this a lot. When we say, hey, like what, how much would you like to make? What does that look like for you? And they give you a number. Dive deep in there. Say, what does that represent? What is that extra $500,000 going to do for you and your family? What kinds of things will it help you with? So really dive deep, not just have them give you a number, but have them tell you what that number will represent for you guys. So get them to dream again, because who knows how long it's been since they dreamed. And now you can give them that tool and that power to dream again of what their life can look like. All right, my friends, this is super important. Posture is everything. And as our role as business coaches, we really want to set that posture with them, because that first bucket, really after launching a coaching floor and a meet and greet, which really sets the stage, starts with our posture as a business coach. Our role as a business coach is to help that coach get what they want, get that better life that they're seeking, to reach those goals and those dreams that they're wanting. So it's really going to start with posture, and this really sets the stage for success for them. So our posture in bringing on coaches and turning them into senior coach, you guys, is, like I mentioned, their why is their driver, not you. Their why is their why and their dreams are gonna be the thing that's gonna drive their action. that drive them to do the things, to get into, to get into action, to do the work. So whatever you say, I mean, clearly I know they have some respect for you, but you're not going to be that driving action. It's always going to be their why. It's always going to be their dreams. It's going to, propel them to want to get into action. So it's really important as business coaches, you guys, to know their why, to know what's going to be their driving factor, to know what they're doing this for. I know a lot of people come in, wanting to just help a few people, and that's okay. But people that, we worked with a lot of people that's all they wanted. But when they started seeing not just the joy in helping others, but even a little bit of the income, their why may change. They may think, or their dreams may change. And now they're thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is pretty easy. Like I want to go all in. I want to see what I can do with this. So it's really important for you to know their why and know even as their why may evolve, right? So one thing that is absolutely key, you guys, is communication. Silence, remember this, silence is not golden, because if communication goes dead, that is not a good thing. You want to keep that line of communication always open. And one thing that you want to posture to that new coach early on is that you're going to be connecting with them a lot. Maybe in the beginning, it might be a daily or a day-to-day base, might be daily, it might be every other day. But even after, those first initial calls with this coach, you need to let them know we're going to stay in communication all the time. Setting up maybe even the further along a weekly coach support call. Those things are vital. Those things are super important, but you want to posture that early. Everything that you posture early is set up for duplication. So as you are keeping that communication open and you're letting them know, hey, we are going to connect quite a bit. Do not feel like you're ever bothering me. You want them to feel safe and to feel open to coming to you when they do need that help. Even your availability, you guys, does that coach feel like you're bothering them? Because that is not a good thing. If they feel like they're bothering you when they're trying to reach out and ask for help, that's one thing you just never want to posture in your business. Because let me tell you, there are going to be some busy seasons. So buckle up. As you start bringing on coaches, let me tell you, there's going to be times where you need to inconvenience yourself. You want them to be set up for success. And all that means is when you bring on a coach, you're going to be working. Remember, going senior coach over and over again. This is the whole goal. Most of you, I would say, I know there's some brand new coaches, but most of you have already hit senior coach. All you're going to do is repeat that over and over. And you're just doing that with someone now, not for someone, but with someone. So you want to make sure that you inconvenience yourself. And I know sometimes life is busy, you guys. Remember, we talked about structure last week. We talked about all of these busy, messy seasons that you're going to have. But let me tell you, Josh and I, we had some messy seasons to where we were on calls all day long. We were helping coaches all day long. It was back to back to back to back calls. And we still work full time. And a lot of that, we took away, obviously, time from our kid. But I knew that was my why, and I was not going to let my why be an excuse. So it is super important, you guys, to really be all in with these coaches, because they're trusting you now. They trusted you with their health. Now they're trusting you with this new business venture that they have no idea about. They don't know if it's going to work. They don't have that belief system in them yet. So you want to set that bar high, and you want to let them borrow your belief. Just like they borrowed your belief when they became clients. Now they're going to do this all over again when it becomes coaches. So you really, really want to be super involved with them, because you guys, that new coach stage, it's vital. It is vital. They either sink or they go. And if you can help them get to their first win, then, and really just show them what's possible, it's going to bring that springboard to their future as a coach. Because if they don't start off, off with a kick, or they're kind of just, all over the place because you're setting that posture up, they're not going to go past senior coach if they even get there. So it's really important, you guys, because of that time that's so vital through that first stage of getting to senior coach, that you be all in with them. That way you can really help them that way. And really just setting that bar high, help them believe in themselves and help them understand like, hey, this is going to be such an amazing thing for you. Until you start believing in it for yourself, I'm going to let you borrow my belief. And there's really posture team coaching. Let them see that your mentor team is involved, right? We talk about this a lot, and that's the beautiful thing that we have with Optavia, with this business, is a mentor team. We have team coaching. We have a support team. You're never alone when it comes to anything. So remember, when it comes to posturing this, is that letting them know, hey, first start is having them meet your coach, having them see that support system when it comes to team coaching. Because what you're doing, everything you're doing right now is you're just modeling it for them. You're modeling it for duplication. So you want to duplicate that when it comes to really seeing the open of the communication, utilizing that thread, whether it's Facebook, I always encourage, Messenger, having your coach involved in your business and having them there, and they really see all of the lines of communication. And you guys, keep it super simple. Posture that this is simple. There are only a couple of things that a coach needs to do, and we're going to show them every step, right? The payoff is big, but you don't want to make it seem to them that this is complicated or hard, that they can't do this. That's why it is so important to do the just-in-time training, because we want to feed them slowly what they need at the time that they need it, right? So we don't want to posture that this is complicated for them. We want to posture that this is super simple. This is such an easy business, right? We know this. I mean, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And you actually really want to show them that, because they only need a few steps, and we're going to go over that. And that's all they need right now as far as learning how to help their first 5 clients. So this is really huge when it comes to posturing as a business coach. Are you ready to get to work with your coach? All you're doing is you're doing it again. You're going senior coach over and over again, and you're just taking someone along with you. And that is all that creating senior coaches is. But it takes work, you guys. It takes yourself maybe being those messy seasons, maybe, inconveniencing yourself for someone else. And that's taking work. And that's what you want to posture to your new coaches, that you're there every step of the way. Because you guys, duplication, it is key. It is powerful in what we do. So what is it that you're duplicating? Are you duplicating attitude, joy, purpose, work, ethic, even a mission? They're looking at you as now this business coach, and whatever you're modeling for them is what they're going to take from it and what they're going to duplicate on. So what is it that you want? What is it that, you're going to posture to them? And because what you posture to them is what later on they're going to be posturing to their team. All right, you guys, the challenges of not working alongside your coaches. Now, this is a big one, because remember, this is a relational business, but you still need to have a meter. So some challenges of not working alongside your coaches is oversharing, right? They don't know what is enough to say, or when to say it, or how to say it. So this is why you want to work close together with them. You want to teach them this skill. They may feel like they don't have enough clients. And it's not that they don't have enough people, but sometimes they feel like they don't have enough people, right? And they feel that they don't have enough people that are interested, or enough people that know or want to learn more about this. So it's really how they're feeling. How many of us came in? I'll be honest, guys, I was there. I remember starting as a coach, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I know that many people. Come to find out, I knew a lot more people than I thought. And that is something that you want to help them with, is understanding, that, hey, it's not about not having enough clients, but really showing them the ropes. Dealing with price concerns. This is obviously big, and them not learning how to really navigate the price conversation, because they weren't taught that. And you really want to show the client the skill. It's a skill to be able to navigate through price concerns, and even sharing with its potential client that there's really no added cost when it comes to starting this program, right? They are just taking what they currently spend on food and replacing it with food that's going to help them get to their goal. So next we have taking things to the phone. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is people that are vomiting way too much information through Messenger, through text message, and they're not taking these conversations to the phone. They probably maybe don't have that skill of knowing how to. So they decide, oh, I'm just so excited, I'm just going to tell them everything through message. That is something we do not want to do, and we do not want to posture to them, and we do not want to teach them. We want to teach them that we take everything to a phone call, because they may not even know, you guys, how to even learn, or they haven't maybe learned how to ask even open-ended questions. More than that, open-ended awakening questions to find out what someone's looking for. They might speed through a health assessment, or not really invite someone to join them. And that really is such an important part, obviously, when it comes to a health assessment, is asking them to join them. But they're not going to know that if you don't teach them. And they will potentially fail to not share the trilogy right out of the gate, which is the best part of what Optavia truly offers. You want to posture that early on in the health assessment, how to share that trilogy. Because if you don't posture that for that early on, they're never going to do it. And that is the best thing that Optavia offers is the trilogy. You know, the healthy finances, a healthy mind. Yes, a healthy body is great, you guys, but the best part of that comes after. Clients will potentially start alone. And that is, we know that is a disaster waiting to happen. We do not want any clients to start alone because they will fall off. And making things too complicated. Remember, you guys, this business is simple. You know, the system is laid out beautifully for us if we follow it. And all we have to do is now we have to lay out this beautiful system for our coaches to follow. So why we start coaches well. So this list may look a little bit smaller than the last one, but this list is incredibly powerful because keep that relationship open and engaged with you guys. You know, that relationship is everything. You know, as you start them off as a client, and then as you work with them as a coach, that relationship, you're going to find some of your best friends through your coaches. And that's what I love so much is that, you know, all of our coaches, you know, that's who we hang out with. We want to be surrounded by like-minded people. So you want to keep that relationship open because walking alongside them and encouraging them, it's really going to help them thrive in their business. You know, so why do we start them off well? It gives them the vision of the entire mission. How you coach them is going to set them up for duplication as they bring on coaches. And coaching them is really going to give them that start for the structure. You know, they're going to give them that structure to really keep it fun, keep it simple and easy to duplicate. You know, you want them to hit those milestones. You know, those are so important, you know, those milestones of going to senior coach and beyond. You know, we want them to get that cab bonus. I mean, that is like missing out on that $100 for them is huge. So you want them to hit those milestones. You know, this is most important, you guys. This will protect our reputation and our offer because nothing hurts us more than those who come in and they're not engaged, they're not following the system, they don't get trained well, and they're going to start spreading what is not a healthy way to look at our business. So this is a key fact of why it's so important. And we really don't want them sharing the opposite of what Optavia truly stands for. Because if they come in and they're not trained right, and you know they had these goals and they knew what they wanted and they were excited to get started, but they weren't trained right, what's going to happen? They're not going to be successful coaches, and they're going to turn around and instead of sharing to their clients or they're sharing to their friends and their family, oh my God, Optavia is amazing, it's changing my life. They're going to say the complete opposite, and what's that going to do? Nothing good. So you guys, this is really important because when you start off coaches well, you are setting them up for success. All right, my friends. So I'm excited to move it on to the lovely Cindy Kidd. And now we're going to get into some action. So Cindy, my friend, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for laying sort of that foundation for us as we take it to the next steps and actually talk about what that looks like as we start a new senior coach. So next slide. Dreams can't grow until you get into action. We've heard it over and over again these last few weeks. Either do the work, do it scared, kick fear in the face, etc. Your business is not going to move unless there is some action behind it. So as coaches, we're here to mentor our senior coaches. We are literally going hand in hand, hip to hip, whatever analogy you want to use, and walk them through this process. So let's kind of go through what some of those important steps look like. And most of these are in order, and we're going to talk a little bit about each of these as we go through. So first and foremost, we want to send them the starting point video. Now, I feel very strongly that no step should move forward unless they've actually done steps 1 through 3 in this video. Now, if you're allowing your senior coaches to skip this step and kind of get the ball rolling, we're now setting the precedent and the culture that skipping steps is okay. Now, if we do that, what does that mean? That means that we're now creating a culture that is no longer duplicable, and they can kind of go off and do their own thing. So send them that starting point video. Make sure they watch steps 1 through 3 before you continue with the rest of their senior coach journey. Next, you're going to want to set up practice calls. So, ideally you want to start with people who maybe have already been asking your coach what they've been doing, whether it's because they've had fantastic results, or maybe they've been sharing it already a little bit, or they're just kind of a walking billboard. It's great for them to reach out to those individuals first, because those individuals are more likely willing to get on a practice call, and that way they can knock out some of their training. However, with that being said, not everyone is going to be a walking billboard. We do have some coaches that start their coaching journey really early. And if that's the case, nobody's asked them yet what they're doing, unless it's like, what's that food you're eating, right? So if that's the case, they can go with friends and family. And it doesn't have to be people they think need program. It could be their spouse. It could be their mom. It could be anybody that they think is a good friend that will help them with these practice calls. Every now and again, you may have a coach who their calls just fall through the cracks, or, life happens and they may get some cancellations. When those times come up, I know Andrew and I have actually done the practice calls with our coaches. We'll go in, we'll pretend we're someone who is a potential client, and we will run those calls and be kind of those examples. So leverage each other as well if that works. The quicker they can get these practice calls in, the quicker we can move to those next steps. So help them send out those messages, and we'll teach them how to invite people to these calls. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you some scripting, only because a lot of people, that's like the first monkey you peel off their back, right, is inviting people to a call. So we're going to go over some example scripting, and you can take some screenshots of it. Now, once they have some of these calls scheduled, we're going to model these three-way calls for them. As a business coach, you are going to literally walk through this process with them as many times as you need to until they feel comfortable. I've heard sort of the number 5 thrown out there. You listen, or they listen to you do 3, you listen to them do 2. I don't kind of keep with that number 5. Some people are going to take a little bit longer. Some people have to hear that repetition and ask a lot of questions over and over and over again before they feel like they could take the reins and run a call themselves. So make sure you're temperature checking your coaches after each one of these health assessments to make sure they're comfortable for the next step. And you're going to temperature check your coaches every step of the way as you go and build their business. So when you are doing these three-way calls, it's important for you to sort of set that role with your coach of what they need to do. When you're running those health assessments, we don't want them off of mute and chiming in, or, having that small talk with their friend or their family member who's on the call. This is really their opportunity to learn and listen to how these calls are ran. So before they even jump on a call with you, make sure you give them a heads up. Your role is to introduce me to your friend, or introduce each other, and then you're going to put yourself on mute. Make sure you have a health assessment in front of you and take lots of notes, because we're going to debrief afterwards. And then, of course, you do want to debrief afterwards. I'm sure they're going to have questions. You're going to want to ask them, how do you think that went? What are some things that stood out to you? What are some things that maybe you could see could be a hurdle when you're on one of these calls? And walk them through that with them. That will help build trust between you and them as well, because they're going to know, oh, she really is here to help me, not just like, hey, listen, and then throw me to the wolves type of thing. Now, once you've completed a few calls with them and they feel confident because you've done that temperature check, you're now going to listen to them do a few calls. And it's okay to provide them constructive feedback. That's our goal, is to make sure that when you release them and have them do health assessments on their own, that you feel incredibly confident that they can dig into someone's why and ask the right questions and kind of go through the new health assessment flow that we have outlined for us. So it's critical that you really, as their business mentor, set them up for success so that they're not out there flailing on future calls. So build their confidence up, not only give them constructive feedback, but talk about the things that they're doing really well to build their confidence too. Now, once that training's out of the way, one thing we really want to be careful about, and Michelle alluded to it earlier, is making sure we're passing off tools in real time. Nobody drinks well out of a fire hose. So what does that look like to give people things, in just in time? It means not sending them links to tools that they don't need right away, not overloading them with trainings, not sending them every single Zoom link for every single meeting that we attend. That is just way too much, you guys. So literally spoon feed them little pieces at a time just to make sure that they're getting comfortable with where they're at right now before we take them to the next step. Now, as you guys know, as we're setting up calls, there could be a little bit of downtime, right? We're telling them how to reach out to people. Not everyone's going to respond right away. So there may be a little bit of lull. In that time frame, make sure you're having them continue to expand their list. Their list of 100, they may not even have 100 yet, but as time goes by, they're going to kind of, have new people on their heart or interact with people they haven't talked to in a while that have suddenly come up this week, because the universe and God works a little interesting that way, right? Like as opportunities present, people present in our lives too. So make sure they continue to grow that list because you're going to review it with them, hopefully on a regular basis. Now, after we have some of that stuff done, we have the health assessments done, you also want to go over their story. And a lot of this can happen in tandem, right? They can expand their list, you can help them with their story at the same time. But it's important that you do walk them through what their story looks like. And it could be a soft launch versus a grand opening, but their story is really important and it's really powerful. But this also means that they're not really doing a grand opening until their health assessments are completed. Now, I know we sometimes get some runners out there where they're like, yay, I became a coach. And now I'm blasting my before and after all over social media. It happens. You're going to have to pick up the pieces and do a little bit of cleanup or chase your runners. And that's okay. But if you can set the tone ahead of time, let them know, here are your next steps. We want to knock out these practice calls before you go to social media so that you feel like you have all the tools that you need to then have those conversations after your go live. Also knowing that as your business coach, I will be there every step of the way. So once we have the health assessments done, you're kind of talking to them, you're building their story, you want to walk through tracking some of those follow-ups. Now, the follow-ups is really important. It's not just follow-up Friday, although follow-up Friday is a great indicator to remind you to follow up with people. But you want to make sure that they are tracking who they've completed health assessments with, all of them they've done with you, either with you facilitating it or you listening. And so you'll want to show them how to follow up with people, making sure that they're sending out the follow-up email after the health assessments, and then shooting that person a message a few days later. Hey, Susie, as promised, I'm following up with you a few days later. Do you have any questions about the email I sent you? Or can I help answer any questions before you get started? Notice how I said before you get started, kind of alluding to the fact that eventually they're going to start program, right? And then lastly, you're going to prepare your coach for social media. And this is where things get really excited. But before we do that, let's take a step back a little bit and talk about how to invite people to these three-way conversations. Now, like I said earlier, this could really be the first monkey you're peeling off someone's back because they still may have that chatter in their head that, oh my gosh, this is an MLM. I don't want to sound salesy. They're going to think this is just another new thing I'm doing. There's a ton of chatter happening in new coaches' heads. So we are here to guide them, provide them some scripting so that they feel a little bit more comfortable reaching out to their family members or friends to help them with this training process. So you're going to tell them, hey, I'm learning. I'm a new coach. I would love to get you on a phone call with my business mentor. So here's an example of what someone could say. Hey, I know you were asking me about the program that I'm doing that's helped me lose weight or X number of pounds. Due to the success I've had, I've recently decided to pay it forward and become a health coach. Since I'm new to coaching and just learning the basics, I would love for you to talk to me and my coach together to see if our program is a good fit for you. He or she will be able to tell you more about the program and answer questions you may have. Are you free to connect today or tomorrow? Now, this is probably for people who've already been asking your coach, what are you doing? You look fantastic. Here's the blurb. They are welcome to customize it, kind of add their own little tweaks to it if they want to. But this is also a critical point to make sure that if they're saying, are you available today and tomorrow, that you as a business coach are available today and tomorrow. Otherwise, they're going to get responses that say, yeah, I'm available later today. And now you are not prepared for that because your schedule was completely packed. So make sure that when your clients, or sorry, your coaches are ready to move to the next step, that you have cleared time on your calendar to support your coaches. The next example is one where maybe no one's asking. Maybe they're a brand new coach and they're new on program, or they just haven't said anything and people haven't noticed. This message is the one that they're going to send people just for like the training calls because nobody's asked. And it says, hey, I was wondering if you could do me a favor. I'm assuming that you know I've lost quite a bit of weight recently, and I've decided to pay it forward and become a health coach. One of my next steps in my training is to listen to my coach explain the program to 3 different people in the next 7 days. Would you be willing to be one of my 3 training calls just so I can hear how my coach explains it? I would totally appreciate your help. Let me know if you can give me 20 minutes of your time in the next week. Hope you're doing awesome. Pretty simple message. Again, they can modify it and tweak it a little bit. I wouldn't suggest tweaking it a lot, but they can send out as many of these as they can, just so that we can make sure we're getting a minimum of 5 health assessments completed or more, again, depending on the comfort level of your coach. So we have those invites out there. The next step is we're going to get ready for social media launch. This is when things get really excited. However, know that not every coach that is signing up to be a coach understands social media. There are a lot of people who are social media noobs. So don't assume that every single person you sign up is tech savvy. Sometimes this is going to mean that you are required to show them how to post something. What's the difference between a story and a post? How do I add a picture to my post? It's the basics, you guys. Don't get frustrated with them either. Keep it simple, make it fun, but your energy, they're going to feed off of your energy, and your energy is going to be matched. So if you get really anxious with them or frustrated because you feel like they don't know how to do something, but they should know how to do something, that's not fair. But if they get that vibe from you, this is no longer fun. If they think that they're just coming and you're like their boss and you're getting really disappointed in them, why would I want to work with you? And I know for me personally, I'm someone who quickly shuts down if I get any type of vibe that maybe you make me feel like I'm incompetent or that I made a mistake, but the way you told me I made a mistake just didn't rub me the right way. I am less likely to build that or knock that wall down and build that relationship with you if I feel like every time I come to you, you're just coming to criticize me in not a very positive way. So be very mindful of that energy that you portray to your coaches as they're launching, because this should be one of the most exciting times for them, although relatively nerve-wracking. So help them create their before and after. Notice I didn't say create their before and after. Now, you are not here to do the work for them. You are here to help guide them through these steps. Now, and when I say that, I mean, like, don't be an enabler, because what's going to happen is if you start doing their work for them, you're now creating a business that is no longer duplicable. So they're now going to think, oh, Cindy's going to create all my before and afters. And then when I sign on coaches, I'll just have Cindy create their before and afters. That's not going to work, you guys. We're here to also build people's skills. So that means, maybe let them know what photo app you're using. Maybe walk them through the first one, have them come over, get on a Zoom or a Facebook call real quick and walk them through those steps. Make sure they're adding the disclaimer on there. That way they know, every before and after needs a disclaimer, but which one do they use? They don't know. So make sure you're explaining those steps as you are preparing their before and after. Now, this is when the fun happens. You actually get to help them craft their first post. Now, this could be one of 2 options. This could be someone who is going to do a soft launch. And a soft launch means maybe they're not at their goal yet. Maybe they're a coach who they're 2 weeks into program, they feel phenomenal, they've had incredible results, and now they just want to share it with everybody and have everyone track their progress and hopefully bring on board a community that they can support as they're going through their own journey. So with a soft launch, you're going to say something like, hey, I'm down 20 pounds, I'm feeling fantastic. You're going to help script that for them. versus a grand opening. A grand opening is truly their full story. And it's why have they decided to pay it forward? What has program done for them? How has it changed their life? It's literally sort of that trilogy in a little clean package that you can help them post and create. Make sure you're reading their story before they post it though. This will give you the opportunity to kind of make some edits, make sure there's nothing that might be caught by compliance because they're claiming that, you know, we can reverse diabetes or whatever the case may be. So make sure you're editing it, proofreading it before it actually goes to the launch. And then of course you get to launch and that's exciting, right? So wipe your hands clean, you're done, right? No, false, you're not done, because that's when we know a lot of that work starts, is the after post, right? So now that they've launched, you're really going to set the example for them. And when I say that, it's because, like I said earlier, you are potentially having coaches who are brand new to social media, or they've taken a hiatus for several years because it was filled with drama or whatever the case may be. So you need to be the example on your page for what a great social media page looks like. Now, did you just post your grand opening and then say, great, all these clients have flocked and I never have to post another thing? Probably not. At least I hope not. But this is where your example is incredibly critical. So what does your page look like? Are you branding yourself as a health coach? Do you have a new coach who can use your page as an example? Or are you a coach that's like, oh, hey, go look at Susie Q's because Susie Q is a great example. Why are you looking at Susie Q's page? I should be able to be that example for our new coaches so that they can see what this looks like. Now, of course, there's other flavors of tea out there, right? And so people may get some different flavors out there, maybe someone who's stronger in, say, lives versus posts, etc. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure we are that example for our own coaches. So if success leaves clues, is your page a piece of success that they can pull from? Next, you're going to help them write their book. What do you mean their book? Your social media page is your book. And so you are going to help them craft what their social media page looks like. Again, it's brand new to them, so they need to understand sort of how Facebook works, how Instagram works, how their posts work, what they should be posting. Is your coach someone who has any substance to their page right now? If they don't, you need to help guide them, because we don't want a ton of just before and afters. We don't necessarily want a ton of just selfies out there. We want like meat in their Facebook page so that people can get to know who they are. Have them share pictures of their family, of their pets, activities, hobbies that they're doing, vacations that they're taking, recipes, struggles. I mean, you name it, they should be sharing it on Facebook, because if they can't create that culture of trust with their potential clients as people get to know them, then they're not going to get clients, because, well, no one's going to know what you're about. So why would I go sign up to do something if I have no clue that I could even trust you with what I'm doing, or I can't even tell what your character is like on social media? So make sure you're planting, telling them the importance of planting seeds in the business, because the only way we can plant seeds is by posting, because that's how some of those seeds start, right? Now, last night, I heard a really great quote. Andrew and I are doing the Og Mandino Leadership Institute that many of you guys probably heard from Rise Up Summit. And the quote was, better posts equal better conversations. And I don't know why a little light bulb went off in my head last night, but I thought, wow, that's really powerful. Better posts equal better conversations. And that means if I'm just kind of posting random things like, I don't know, a picture of a sunset, great, that's probably a beautiful post and people may like it, but the conversation I may have around that post may not be one of substance. So make sure you're sharing stuff that's really authentic, that's you, that's real, and that people can actually have a conversation with you about. Because if it's not a post that can spark a conversation, you're gonna have a really hard time starting conversations outside of maybe the new friends that you're making. So remember that, better posts equal better conversations. Now, the other thing is to make sure that your coaches know they don't have to be a perfect coach on social media now. I feel like there's kind of this fear when people sign up and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm a coach and now I have to be perfect and be follow the 5-in-1 perfectly. And I can never post that, I'm out maybe drinking with my friends. Granted, you don't necessarily want to post that you're like at a club every other night or anything, but you want to make sure that your posts, again, are real. Everyone who's on program has struggles. So if you're falling off program, it's okay to talk about that. It just means that you still have opportunities and people want to see that. They want to see that you're struggling, but they also want to know what you've done to overcome that. So make sure that your coaches don't have that sense of fear, like, oh my gosh, the pressure's on, I have to be perfect now. There's no such thing as perfect. Now that they're launching and they're posting, that stuff's really exciting, right? But what do they do with it? They can't just post. Yes, they may be doing 3x3x3 if you started them early, but they can't just throw posts up there and not do anything with them. You have to show them how to respond to these posts. So we want to make sure that we teach them how to get people from the phone to Zoom, because we need to make sure that we're having these conversations not on our social media threads, but actually behind the scenes. So it could be something as easy as responding to a like. Hey, Susie, thanks for liking my before and after picture. That really keeps me motivated to keep trucking on to my goal. How have you and the family been doing? End it with a question. Let them know why we end it with a question so that that person can respond to us and we get that conversation going. Also responding to comments. People are going to comment on those messages. They're going to inquire, oh my gosh, Susie, you look fantastic. What the heck are you doing? We respond to those comments by saying, hey, Susie, I'm going to send you a private message, or I already did send you a private message, and making sure, that we're actually following up and sending them a private message. And that way we can continue that conversation and work with our coaches on how to transition that to the phone call. Our goal really is to let our coaches know ahead of time and set the foundation that 80% of social media is what happens behind the scenes. We could post all day long, we can friend all day long, but if we're not doing anything with the stuff that we post, nothing's going to happen. If we're not starting conversations, if we're not reaching out to those new friends that we're making, then literally nothing happens other than maybe their number of likes has increased. But that's about it. So the action is really behind the scenes. And the sooner your coaches know that, the better off you're going to do, the better off they're going to be, and you're going to set them up for success. Now, the other thing you can do is, if you want to, start them early working on the 3x3x3. Don't overwhelm them with this if you don't think they're ready, but there is no harm in ramping up their posts, friending new people, and starting conversations if you feel they're ready for it. So now that that's all said and done, we've gone live, we posted, we've walked them through the follow-ups. It's all perfect, right? Like, they should know exactly what to do. No. So Michelle is going to walk you through maybe some challenges that we may have with new coaches, because it is going to be a messy season. So Michelle, why don't you walk through some of those for us?
Awesome, Cindy. Thank you. That was incredible. So you guys, let's go over obstacles. Obviously, not everything always goes perfect, right? Remember, we hear obstacles are the way. And that is a habit of leadership that we want to embrace, because, how many of us, show of hands, maybe a comment, maybe put a one in the chat. I mean, how many of us go through obstacles when we bring on new coaches? Maybe we have some late bloomers, maybe we have some slow starters. What about a coach who doesn't seem interested in doing the work, right? I mean, we get those, and that's okay. We want to give everyone an opportunity to really partake in the blessing of Optavia, painting that picture, bringing it back to their why. Remember, you guys, the dream drives the action. So we need to dive in, and we need to see what their dream is and what we can do as business coaches, because no actions, no results. So obviously, as business coaches, we go through these obstacles. We've got coaches who are like, oh, we thought they were going to be a rock star and they're not doing anything, right? How many of us have that? Oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you. We bring on this coach and we're just so excited. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be amazing. They're going to be integrated presidential in a week, and then all of a sudden they're not doing anything. And you're just like, what happened? So we go through these obstacles, you guys, but we don't just let them go. We really want to dive back into them, because what is makes a really good business coach is that we really take it there. We take it to getting to know their why. Maybe we get to, you know, find those kinks in the hose and see what is going on. Maybe, they thought that there was going to be no action. Maybe they were just waiting for people to come to them. Maybe they're unsure what they're doing and they're maybe afraid to ask for help. So, what we do as business coaches, you guys, is we find the kinks in the hose. And the way that we do that is we identify that by asking questions. And we obviously want to, number one, confirm the action. We want to see what's been going on with them. We want to see, maybe the different steps that they've been taking. Maybe we've gone through everything as far as, that Cindy talked about with the actions, but we're not seeing really anything. So we really want to dive in and we want to find that kink in the hose and see, okay, what is going on? Where can we help fix that? And the way that we identify these obstacles, you guys, is by asking questions. That's what we do. It's same thing when we're having a struggling client, right? We want to ask questions. We want to see what is going on. We want to get the routine of their day. We want to know exactly what's happening. Well, that's the same way with coaching, you guys, is we want to identify those obstacles by really asking the questions. And we want to work alongside them for these obstacles. Maybe, they're not doing something right, or maybe they feel overwhelmed by something. We want to work through that with them, so that they are set up for success. And keep bringing it back to asking questions versus telling. We don't want to tell a coach anything, right? You're not their boss. You're there alongside them as their business partner, but you're not, you don't want to bring them into that employee mindset to where you're telling them what to do. You're guiding them through it. And there's a huge difference as well. So you want to ask them questions and you want to ask permission before you do. Hey, are you open to a suggestion? That will go such a long way, you guys, rather than telling, hey, like Cindy was talking about, that constructive criticism, you can bring that in a good way rather than a bad way, rather than a negative way. So you want to ask them, hey, are you open to a suggestion? This is what I found, or what I found is, and then take it back. So it's really important, you guys, to really work alongside these obstacles. Now, there's going to be some coaches that maybe just go MIA. It happens. That's not a reflection on you. That's just maybe they weren't ready. Maybe, they were so excited and then they just kind of disappeared. And so there's so many obstacles that we work through as a coach. But what makes us really good business coaches, you guys, is helping them identify these obstacles and working alongside with them. Because when you learn how to work through it with them, what you're doing is you're also duplicating that. And now when they start bringing on coaches, they're now going to know how to work alongside their coaches through obstacles. So we always want to confirm the action, right? We want to see, hey, what's going on? Let's kind of work backwards and kind of see, what maybe there's some steps that you didn't do. And we want to ask that permission. And we want to say, hey, are you open to that suggestion? And really going back to the action, confirming the action, identifying the obstacles. And as you follow the hose to find those kinks, you're going to start to see that you're unkinking those, right? And that's after we confirm that action. So, and what's super important, you guys, is remember, repeat, have fun. Repeat, edify them, really compliment them for the great job that they're doing. And it's going to be wash, rinse, repeat, right? So that's something that we want to get really, really good at with you guys, is working through those obstacles with coaches. Because guess what? It's not always, it's very rare to find a coach or to work with a coach and not have any obstacles come in the way. But as business coaches, we want to really be good at asking those questions. We want to be good at going through their day-to-day action, maybe through routine, maybe going back at those steps, like Cindy so beautifully said, is going through each of those steps, and before moving on, making sure that they have that and they know exactly what to do before moving on. So obstacles are the way, and as you get good at doing this for your coaches, they're going to get good at doing this as well for their coaches. So let's go ahead and finish this up with senior coach celebration. As we know, once they've hit senior coach, hallelujah, they've hit that milestone. You've helped them go senior coach, and that's what's so amazing, is that you are celebrating them, because this is a huge deal and we want to make it a huge deal for them. this is not easy. They helped their first 5 clients. We know it's simple, but there was some action, there was some work that went behind it. So we want to glorify them and we want to help them. So I'm going to have Cindy go ahead and go over the senior coach celebration. Just give us a few more minutes, you guys. We will not take you too much longer. So go ahead, Cindy.
Awesome. Thanks. So we really want to start and establish a culture of celebration. Dave Blanchard told me on my one-on-one session that 80% of the workforce's love language is words of affirmation. Everybody wants to hear that they're doing a great job, whether it's over something really small or something really big that they're leaping into, like starting a business and coaching. So this is the time where we can start to do that. And the great thing is your business mentor is facilitating this call. So your coach doesn't get to hear it from you. They get to hear it from your business mentor, which can be really exciting for some folks to know that, oh my gosh, we really do coach as a team and they care about my success as well. So just don't skip this step, because your coaches will appreciate the celebration of the hard work they've done over the last few weeks. So it also gives your business coaches the chance to let them know we're also staying hip to hip. Although you will have probably weekly meetings with your coaches, your business mentors are constantly there. So it gives them the opportunity to also kind of test the waters, see how they're feeling about everything that's sort of unfolded over the last few weeks. Do a temperature check. It kind of shows like what step in the process are we at now? And are they ready for the next step? Your business mentor will help kind of determine that based on the conversation that they have with your coach. They're going to ask them what's next. Are they ready for the next step? Or are they feeling like, whoa, 5 clients is all I can handle right now, so I don't think I'm ready to go to the next step yet. If they're not, you need to be okay with that. We don't want to push them into something that they're not ready for, because then it's no longer going to be fun. And so that's when your business mentor will say, okay, great, let's keep you at the 5 clients. When you're ready for more, let us know, and we'll talk about what that looks like. These calls will also give your mentors the opportunity to see if there's any obstacles. Is there something that they're struggling with that we can help them with on that phone call and talk them through it? It's not going to be all butterflies and rainbows those first few weeks for them. So giving them sort of that forum to voice their concerns or their anxieties or whatever is happening, the chatter in their head, is really important because they want to feel heard. So that's something that's really important during these calls. And tomorrow they're going to kind of go deeper, a deeper dive into this. So I'm just going to go with these a little high level. We're going to refine their skills. We're going to do a little bit of a systems check. Are they doing the kickoff calls the night before with their clients? Are they creating group messages that you're in so that you can see that messages days 1 through 8 are being sent out? Are they connecting on the phone calls days 1 through 4? We want to make sure we're checking the system, right? Because again, we need to make sure that everything they're doing can be replicated. Your business coaches, the great thing is we can start kind of building that culture of sponsoring. So your business coach may ask your coach, which of the 5 clients do you think would be a great coach? And they'll talk about that and really get their wheels spinning on sponsoring early on, so that you're not like Andrew and I, where we waited 6 months because we had so much chatter in our head. And you may have those coaches, and that's okay, because some people have a little bit more to work through with the chatter. But if we can start planting those seeds early and getting them to understand the importance of sponsoring, the faster their business is going to grow. And then, of course, we want to make sure we're posturing client integration. Do their coaches know about the Facebook support pages? Do their clients, do their clients know about the Wednesday Habits of Health calls? The more we can get their clients integrated, the more success their clients are going to have, which means the more success they have, potentially the more referrals they're going to have as well. And then lastly, we want to get clear on next steps. What are they ready for? Are they ready for more? Or do we have to take it a little slow and walk through these first 5 clients with them? Please, please, please make sure you're doing the temperature check, because, great story. Andrew and I's first coach, I think we scared the bejesus out of her because we just gave too much information to her. We were feeding her way too much too quickly, and she simply wasn't ready. And sadly, we did scare her off. It ended up being something that she wasn't interested in. And I think that's partly our fault. So make sure you're asking, are you ready for the next steps? And be clear on how you can serve them, because really all this work is just to help them and grow their business. It really has little to do with you. And I'll end it with, we acquire clients, and when we acquire clients and we support clients is just as important as acquiring coaches and supporting coaches. You're still going to have weekly calls with them. You're still going to check in with the business. So if you gave them this really phenomenal client support, make sure you follow through with your business support, because that is going to really be the difference between a business that really gets off the floor and skyrockets versus one that just stays at ground level because you're not there to support them. That's all I got. Michelle, you want to end it for us?
I love it. Yes. Well, lastly, I just want to say, you guys, is that, building, obviously we're going through sponsoring and we're going through building senior coaches and building them solid with momentum, because that is the starting rate to their success on plan. Keep it simple, keep it fun for them, because remember, this is supposed to be fun. Coaching is supposed to be an awesome time in their life. We don't want to overwhelm them with too much, but also meet them where they're at. We don't want to give them way too much. We just want them to be happy, right? We want them to see the joy in coaching. And so we want to meet them where they're at. If they're slow starters, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, and some people do take time, but just love them for where they're at, meet them where they're at, and just help them with those steps. Because I will tell you this, as a business coach, once you've mastered the skill of building senior coaches, and now you're duplicating that onto your team and you're helping your team master building senior coaches, you're going to see that goes in 3 steps. You want to get really good at building senior coaches. From there, once you master that skill, and remember, you guys, it's a skill. Like everything that you've been learning through this series is a skill for the tools that you're going to put in your tool belt. So not everyone is good off the bat with these tools or these skills, but this is something that you're learning. This is why it's so simple, is you're learning these tools to put in your tool belt. So once you've mastered that skill of building senior coaches, from there, you're going to master the skill of building blended EDs. From there, you're going to master the skill of building FIBICs. And so it goes in steps. And so tomorrow, what's going to be really awesome, you guys, is now that you've kind of gotten a better idea, hey, okay, I'm going to master this skill, and it just takes work as far as building senior coaches. Tomorrow, it's going to be all about blended EDs. But if you've mastered this skill, you guys, you can go really far in your business. So I hope you guys all got some value from today. Hopefully this really helped you guys. I want to thank Cindy for being an amazing co-host, but I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And, I want to commend you and congratulate you guys again for still being all in through this series. We're almost at the end. We've got like 1 more week left with it, which is crazy, but it's amazing that you're still all on here and you're still all in. So hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And we'll see y'all soon.